how long do you take before you start to see the first traction?
1 year.
1 year. So
Yes, my first year was quite scary.
Okay, I understand. Yeah. Back how young are you back then?
I was 28.
Okay, I can imagine.
Yes, every day I was standing outside my restaurant thinking, why is nobody here? Interesting, I started giving myself all kind of excuses why there was nobody. And then it got to a point where I'm like, forget it, I'll just have my coffee and chill and rather work on how can I be shameless and get myself out there. And that's how we started, say, why don't we just go straight to the companies and show ourselves and show up? Yeah.
Wow, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Every month is like burning.
It is.
It is burning cash.
It was.
And when there's no people,
yes,
that can be
it
quite
was scary.
stressful.
We didn't have a salary for an entire year ourselves.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, really? So how do you brace yourself back then? Like
not eating as much.
okay.
But I mean, we were not big spenders anyway, so we spent our entire day in the restaurant. So there's no lack of food to start with. But I think in anything, I believe in perseverance lah. Because we started the journey, and I'm somebody who I don't like to end something badly. So if I've tried everything I've done and it still failed, then okay, I'm happy with it. But so I always believe in trying to reinvent the wheel if I need to, and just keep pushing. And so I don't think I regret in how I ran it, but obviously I could have done it better. But I guess in any business journey, if it is too smooth sailing, it's not a proper startup, right? I don't know.
It's normal.
Yeah, it is normal.
In fact, I would say for any sustainable business,
yes,
to face hiccups, to face normal challenges, that's part and parcel of the game.
Yeah.
And good thing about F&B business though, when you start one, no lack of food.
yes. You won't have hunger at least. But I think in the entrepreneur journey, what I've learned is that we need to embrace and not fear failure.
You're right.
Yes, because the moment you have this fear of failing, you won't move.
Yes.
You overthink things.
Yes.
I mean, no plan is perfect. It can never be 100%. But if you see a 70% and you know where the risks are, it's calculated, move. Yeah. And try your best. Yeah.
Got it. So back then you have 1 year of emergency fund to see through the whole thing.
Thank goodness.
That's important.
That's important. Important.
Because sometimes we do see entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs at least, they think that okay, when they open their business, customers will start coming in.
No. Doesn't happen that way. Yeah. I mean, maybe for some, yes, but even after your first 2, 3, 4 customers, I think the toughest is actually sustaining that flow.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not also about your first 2, 3 customers.
Yes.
It's how do you sustain and keep that coming.
During that point of time, do you have a lot of sleepless nights?
Oh, plenty. I had dark circles, I know. Yeah, I mean, but then again, I think, it did. The stress was, I mean, I don't ignore that. I had plenty of stress, and it wasn't just that first year. In fact, throughout the 9 years, you would have, there will be times where you have sleepless night, because as you start to scale, expand, or even hire people, right? Come month end, you need to pay salaries, you need to pay rentals and your bills. There will always be cycles of anxiety. I think, again, that's part and parcel of business, because you can never be smooth sailing for 10 years, right? So what I learned from that is about entrepreneurship is not a 100-meter dash. You need to pace yourself, and remember, it's actually a marathon. So you need to take care of yourself mentally as well. Yeah.
So what are because you start to realize the importance of mental health, right?
Yes.
What are the habits that you think is good for entrepreneurs to adopt to better manage their mental health? I mean, it's quite common. Mental health among entrepreneurs are like an issue, an unspoken of issue.
Yes.
So what practice do you recommend?
I think you have to find a space for yourself that is non-negotiable.
Sure.
Even to your spouse or whoever. What I did was I specifically park half a day out of a week, and it's only my me time that is non-negotiable. So in that me time, I would either do my walks, or do my yoga, do my tai chi, or do whatever it is, or even plug on Spotify and just listen to music. So that half day is me, myself, and I.
Great.
And so that you block everything out, and you have a chance to compartmentalize things. Yeah, and space out.
That's really important.
I think that is something that I have really learned the hard and fast way, to be honest. Yeah, because at some point the stress was so high that it really affected me, not just mentally but also physically. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think for all entrepreneurs out there, you have to take care of yourself first because else how are you going to take care of your staff and your business? Yeah.
I think this is really right.
Yes.
What do you think are the red flags when one is ignoring health? Should I say self-care? So that at least, right, some of the audience here might be entrepreneurs. They once they hear about the red flags, maybe they should be doing something themselves.
I think there could be many ways of detecting it. So for myself and what I observe among my circle, right, there will be physical signs. For example, like literally just 2 weeks ago, somebody was telling me he started not sleeping well. He'll wake up in the middle of the night sweating. And then there are times whereby you just don't have the appetite to eat.
Oh, that's a lot of stress.
Yes. So if you ignore these little signs, right, before you know it, burnout is right next to you. Yeah. So, and I think it is also very important to continue keeping, doesn't matter how big or small, a support group that near you. Because sometimes you are so immersed in all this fighting of fire on a day-to-day basis, you don't recognize these signs as well. Yes. So if you have a very good support group, people will highlight, or at least a very simple question, if they're going to ask, how are you? It may wake you up a little bit and let you think about it. Actually, how am I?
Yes.
Yeah, because we don't ask that very often to ourselves. Yeah, so I think physical are some of the first signs that you can really detect, or if you start really having bad mood swings.
Yeah,
those are also signs that you should be a bit careful of. Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah.
So, based on what you see about the F&B trend in Singapore, what are your views on it right now? Like recently, there's a news, right, saying that 3,000 plus F&B outlets they closed shop last year.
Yes.
So and we have been seeing influx of like international F&B brands, especially from China, right, flooding into Singapore markets. With like difficulty in hiring for F&B staff. What do you make out of this? All this kind of news?
The high turnover, I know a lot of the sentiments, especially online. I've been reading comments and whatnot we all blame it on rental. Things are expensive, rent definitely being one of them. But to me, I don't think it's the sole factor. Yeah, there are many more other factors. One of them majorly would be manpower. Shortage of manpower in our industry is real, and it is extremely challenging because of policies and regulations, and also because now in terms of skill sets there is a shortage. To be honest, I don't know many parents who would be extremely happy if a son or daughter comes and say, after uni I actually want to be a chef. So in Singapore, F&B isn't exactly one of the top most desired occupation or professions to be in.
I can imagine why. I'm a HR, so
yeah. And that's associated because obviously big part of the challenge is losing your social life.
Yeah.
Because how do you celebrate Valentine's Day with your boyfriend, girlfriend, or spouse when that's the day where we make most money, to be very honest. So it isn't exactly the most desired profession to be in. So manpower is an issue, rent, and then the cost of imports of ingredients. Unfortunately, because of the war and shortage of containers and all these, right, all these costs adds up together. And the strain that F&B industry is definitely feeling it. And then, so in a way, I feel, if I'm going to advise someone who is really keen about setting up a space, you need to consider all these factors. And how reliant, can you do something whereby you are not very reliant on professional manpower, for example? If you have a kitchen that's being run, are you going to spend 5K on each chef to professionally churn out a menu? I would love to, because we get fantastic food, but in terms of numbers and profitability, can you stomach that? So these are factors you need to balance. Yeah, or are you better off having a menu whereby I can tap on some what you call senior grant? I can hire any auntie and uncles, give them a step 1, 2, 3 SOP, and they can churn out consistently the same level of quality of food.
True.
Yeah, so that is another model. So you need to choose your models of business very carefully now in order to survive. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you think that these days is better to run a bigger outfit business or smaller outfit?
Smaller.
Smaller, right?
In my own personal opinion.
Less
because
rental.
especially if you're a first timer, I think you shouldn't spend, on a too high a capex kind of outfit.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so far, based on what you have done, you have set up 5 business, right? How many have you sold?
3.
3. So 3 itself, can you share based on your selling experience, what are some of the observations that you have made?
For the restaurant, it was a straightforward one. So
Sure.
I'm grateful for that. I've also, for the other 2, I've had low ballers who were just out there thinking just because you're selling a business, they can lowball and just even try and make you part without giving any appreciation for the goodwill or the value that you have built up for the company. Unfortunately, there seems to be a lot of people out there maybe trying to have a cheap deal. Yeah, so those are quite a painful process, I feel. For especially for the alcohol business, it got to a point whereby I'll just say, why don't I just drink the alcohol myself? That way I gain in another aspect. Yeah. So so I think it's maybe really sifting through who are the right ones that you should be speaking to. So I guess maybe people like you can come into play and make things a lot easier, I feel. Because I didn't meet any business, or it didn't even come to my I didn't even think about maybe going through a third party, for example. Yeah.
Wow. So in the end, how do you resolve it? I mean, after meeting some low ballers, how do you manage to even sell it in the first place?
At the end of the day, I would say it was okay lah. I think I was also really lucky. Yeah, it was again through a network of friends who put the word out for us. Yeah, so the alcohol, we had a couple of Malaysians, who were looking to settle, and have something to do in Singapore. Yeah, so they bought the business at a reasonable price. Yeah, and I also held the hand for at least about 6 months.
So the transition period, having the owner support is really important, right?
Yes, correct.
So based on what you have gone through, what do you think owner can do to make sure that they have a less stressful period when it comes to selling the business?
I feel that, on hindsight, but I didn't have that network of business buyers and or a proper business broker, for example, per se. I feel that we shouldn't be afraid of reaching out to the experts. Sometimes really, don't try and do everything yourself. Seek advice and really go out there and talk to people and network and maybe potentially really get people to help you to do it and plan that exit strategy ahead. So what I also realized was that, sometimes, you just keep running. And I would think that actually a lot of business owners, right, do not have a proper exit strategy in mind.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're very right. It's very common.
It's common.
They only think about the exit strategy when they want to retire next year.
Correct. It's only when the need comes in, then you
Yes.
start, okay, maybe I want to sell. But for the past few years, what I've really learned is it's just like buying insurance, right? So you really need to know where's your maturity date. Yeah, and then you can actually plan for that. Yeah. What's the end goal? Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
So in your entire long entrepreneurial journey, right? What is the one major regret that you have?
Not networking enough.
In your early stage or in the
In my
later?
early stage, yes. Yeah. So, yeah. And also one of the tough learning curve, I would say. Maybe, yes, it's a regret in a sense, not knowing that bit a little bit more earlier, was learning how to let go.
Letting go.
Yes.
In what capacity?
Okay, in two capacities. One is I learned that by not being able to let go and try and do everything yourself, you can't scale.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yes, and sometimes it's difficult to balance that because it's for every business it's like your baby.
Yeah.
And then if you try and control every aspect of your business so much, you can only do how much you can do.
Yes.
Yeah. So there are times whereby I wish I have let go and have people come in and help me.
I mean, the part about letting go and delegating it to someone,
Correct.
right? Sometimes the concern for owners is that,
Yes, it's tough.
number one, can they find someone who can do it equally as well as them?
Never.
Yeah, that's the that's the common mentality, you know. But who knows, right? Maybe you might even be able to hire someone who can do it better than you.
So this is what I learned.
Yeah.
So not letting go earlier enough. Plus, the fact is, I think in order to scale a company or have good people on your team, it's not about trying to find another you. It's actually, in fact, to find people that are better than you
Yeah.
and let them do the job.
Totally.
Yeah, so don't try to do everything by yourself.
In which year of your entrepreneurial journey do you learn this lesson?
Quite many. The regret is I learned it too late.
This is very common.
Yes. The
It's-
right bulb moment came too late, I feel.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's never too late to learn, right?
Yeah.
So I feel, that is something that I realize a lot of people have difficulty letting go.
Yeah. And I can imagine because ultimately you have skin in the game, right?
Yes.
Your employee don't have the skin in the game, right? Their only responsibility is to make sure that their monthly check comes in, right?
Yeah, but I also I do believe in the law of attraction as well. Yeah, because it is definitely how you project and you will attract the type of people into your lives. And then these are the people, when they feel being empowered, they will also be able to perform better. Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yes, because you need to empower them to do certain things. I mean, there will be mistakes. And as long as now I feel if the mistake is not fatal, I think it's fine. Yeah, we
makes
just
sense.
learn from it.
So another thing is that so back to yourself when you are employee transiting to becoming an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
So for anyone who is going to embark the same journey as yourself, from an employee to be an entrepreneur, what is the number one consideration they should have?
Close your back door.
Can you elaborate more on that?
Okay, because as an employee, right, you get your monthly paycheck.
Yeah.
You get your monthly employee. You enjoy your employee benefits.
Correct.
Everything is there. So there's this comfort zone that is very easy for you to fall back on and thinking that, what have I been losing out? You know, you definitely will, unless you pay yourself really well in the beginning, which is hardly the fact as entrepreneurs. So if you decide to take the route of an entrepreneur, you need to close the back door and make sure that whatever you decide to embark on, persevere and just keep doing it. Because if the back door is not closed and you always at the back of your mind, never mind, it's okay lah, at most I go back to another job lor, you will never persevere. That's how I feel. Yeah.
It's like burning the boats, right?
Correct.
So that you have no way of retreating,
Yeah,
right?
it's die or is die. Do it or die.
Yeah, totally. Sometimes it's like if you have some holdback,
Yes.
you don't dare to go all the way.
You won't.
Yeah.
You won't.
So do you think Singaporean has this quality in them?
But I'm heartened by the fact that I have met a lot of young entrepreneurs. Yes, because I do help and mentor some young startups, right? And some of these entrepreneurs are very young, like 20-ish, in their early 20s. And I feel when I talk to them, I feel very encouraged. In fact, that because they're so young, they have the energy. And I always tell them, just try and do it. What's there to lose, right? So, and in fact, even if, say, worst come to worst, they do fail in the end. A lot of the skills that they picked up throughout their entrepreneur, journey, right? It's highly applicable, and it will even lead them to higher success in their future, whatever jobs that they picked up. Because the insights that you gain as an entrepreneur is wonderful.
Valuable, huh? So is there anyone who inspire you?
I do actually, and I have to say is that it helps to have a mentor at least, or if not a couple in your life at some stage. So my mentor is one of them that I truly look up to. She built her own business from scratch, and when I got to know her, she's very well to do already, living in a GCB, and you would think that maybe second, third generation wealth and whatnot. So as we got to know each other deeper, right, I realized that no, she literally built her own wealth from scratch, and she came from a broken family. So in her lifetime, she was able to build a wealth to such a stage. And I looked up to her because of her life journey that she so willingly and genuinely shared with me. And being a very down-to-earth person, and the type of advices that she gave me was always very spot on. And one of them that I will always bring with me, that she told me, is like, Karen, when it comes to business, the number one key rule is never be emotional.
Can you elaborate more on that?
Yes. So emotional being when you make decisions, how objective you are. And then also emotional when you want to let go of certain things or hold on to certain things, how emotional you are. So are you letting your heart talk, or are you letting your brains talk? So because it can be quite critical at times. So Correct. It's the same thing, because perhaps I could have let go of my restaurant a lot earlier and fetched a higher price, for example. Because I know somebody gave us a price when I was in my 6th year. So that could potentially have helped us scale to a bigger stage. But I didn't, because I didn't want to let go of the control. So sometimes it's all these emotion that, that comes into play that could hamper your growth. So this is something that I picked up from her, and I keep it very close to heart.
Do you have a favorite book?
I thought about that when you asked me. I can't pinpoint one, because I like reading, and I read everything, including the back of a cereal box.
Okay.
But I have definitely, I do love reading biographies of politicians and even some entrepreneurs. So if in particular to politician, like George Yo's book.
Okay.
Yeah, interestingly, I enjoyed some of the philosophies that he shared inside, because I think he's one of the really smart guys out there.
Okay.
Yeah. In how he sees things, even on a global stage, for example.
Sure.
Yeah. So I can't really pinpoint like now when what he said and whatnot, but I feel that from reading all these books, like politicians aren't exactly business related, but they do help us in opening up our minds that the world operates it doesn't revolve around you only. So it does give you insights on how the economies work out there, and that can help and shape some of the decisions that you make on a day-to-day as an entrepreneur.
Is it the geopolitics side, or understanding the human?
From psychology, warfare, or whatever you call it, to the geopolitical, because like geopolitical is also interesting, because the cost of imports and sourcing, where I decide where I get some of my materials from, all these can shape your decisions. Even in how you look at certain markets down the road, for example, like how the new president in US potentially for the next 4 years So how are you going to shift or pivot your direction as a business owner? So these are important insights.
Got it. So last question here, right?
Sure.
I hope so far all of you have been enjoying this sharing. So can you share a bit more about your current business, what you are doing, and the kind of products that you're dealing with?
So with Curated Provisions, this is I'm bringing back my passion of crafted or artisanal cheeses. Yeah, I know we've been in the past few years, you know, everyone's been talking about sustainability, even coming up with alternative versions of cheeses, dairy products that is not made of dairy products. All good, because I do feel there is an issue with excessive industrial farming that is creating a lot of problems. But at the same time, I also do believe in celebrating and preserving some of these traditions, cultures, and craftsmanship from artisans. So like for example, one of my network group member introduced me to a very small cheese craftsman from Japan. Like you would not think Japan as a cheese provider. Yeah. But what intrigued me was that he made a French style camembert in Japan that reflected very uniquely of the environment and all under very controlled, sustainable practices.
Wow.
So I feel how we consume certain stuff can still be sustainable if we are able to choose the right source of products. And generally, craftsmen, they don't excessively produce anyway. Even if you're going to order a ton or container from him, he cannot produce. Yeah. So I like to drive some focus to this craftsmanship, and also coming back, you know, there and also hopefully trying to demystify certain understanding of how we consume food. Because, for example, I will speak to people like, hey, you know, do you eat cheese? Then they say, oh, I don't eat cheese because it's fattening. But there's 5,000 to 9,000 types of cheeses out there. It's about what you eat and how you eat it.
True.
Yeah, and if you eat it well, in fact, cheese is a superfood that does wonders for your gut health. Yeah, so I like to dive deeper into this, and I have a special passion about products that speaks of terroir, like including wines and stuff like that. So with Curated Provisions, that will be my focus, and trying to source for crafted artisanal foods and introducing them to the market here in Singapore through master classes, as well as through events, you know, reaching out to more local people and having them understand that, you know, it's how we eat that determines our health, and not just simply because of labels that we need to look after.
Got it. So for any of you who is keen to learn more about Curated Provisions, please contact Karen. She does corporate events.
Yes.
Normal event as well?
Normal events. If you are just struggling to think of a really good gift for next housewarming, for example, you can reach out. Yeah.
And any other things that they should contact you for?
Oh, we can do, I also do master classes. In a sense, we can have cheese and wine appreciation classes. I also do nutrition talks where I teach people how to eat. Yes.
That's great. So I hope you have enjoyed this entire sharing. So if you do, kindly subscribe and click on the like button. And thank you so much for watching today's video. Have a good day.
Thank you.